So whether you call it karma, coincidence, or kismet, I believe that everything happens for a reason. I know talking about the power of the universe makes you sound like a hippie, but I like to think of myself as more of a witch. That's why I own things like tarot cards, healing crystals, dream analysis books, a crystal ball. Okay, really, it's just a snow globe with flamingos inside, but it's cute, right? And miracle manifestation guides. As someone who believes that the universe speaks to you, I receive messages pretty frequently. Definitely not daily, but sometimes something comes through loud and clear, and I had to share it with you guys. On Sunday, I was driving to my storage locker to pick some things up for a trade show that I was working on the weekend. It was about 9:15 in the morning, and it was absolutely freezing and incredibly windy. As I pulled in front of my storage locker, I noticed a little old lady just about getting knocked over by the wind and really struggling to walk through. She was about the only person on the street, so it was pretty easy to notice her. I pulled over in front of the storage locker, and as I opened my door, the wind was so strong it nearly blew it off the hinges. She looked over at me, and we made eye contact for a real quick split second, and she looked crazy. She started yelling at me, "Lady, the church!" Naturally, I assumed that she was absolutely mentally ill, and I thought I didn't really want to engage in conversation with her. So I had to make a really quick decision whether I was gonna talk to this lady or just run into my storage locker, but I took a look at her outfit and she looked super duper well dressed, and I thought, I'm gonna have to say hi. So I walked over and she's asking me, "Where is the church? Where is the church?" And there's a huge church down the street. I pointed to it and she said, "No, Stanislav Church!" It was so windy, it was like -0, so I said, "Just come inside with me and I'll try to help you out." I pulled out my phone and I googled Stanislav Church Toronto, and I found one that was located at Queen and Denison. The lady's proceeding to explain to me that her taxi dropped her off and she's totally lost and she has no idea where to go. It was only a couple blocks from where we were, but I thought it was best to just give this lady a ride to the church. I asked her to wait a couple minutes for me to get my stuff out of my storage locker, and I told her I'd give her a ride. She was so grateful, and she was like, "Oh, thank you, I pay." And I'm like, "No, lady, you don't need to pay me for the ride. You just need to wait 10 minutes for me to load up my car, and then I will drive you there." So once I had everything I needed, I helped her in the car, got the door for her, closed the door, went around, fired the car up, and she was just so grateful that I could give her a ride like 3 blocks. And honestly, like I say, I was happy to do it. And she said to me, "Oh, you're like angel from nowhere to help." Which seemed super exaggerated at the time, but realistically, you know, that's what she needed. She needed somebody to just help her get to where she was going, and I kind of thought if this was my own grandma or a relative, like, I'd hate for them to be all alone in the cold, so happy to help. After my meeting with this lovely old lady, I didn't really think about it too much. I went about my day business as usual. Flash forward 24 hours on the dot. At 9:15 the next day, my phone rang and it was my gym calling me. I found it a little strange that they were calling me, but I thought they were calling to inform me about a canceled class or a change in schedule or something like that. I answered the phone and the receptionist said they had just received a call that someone had found my keys. Last month on October 18th, I lost my keychain at 1 o'clock in the morning on a Friday after Booby Ball. The day after I'd lost my keys, I went back and I searched. I walked up and down the block, I looked on the sidewalk, I looked in the street, I looked on the gutters, could not find them. I assumed they were in the taxi. Beck never found them. Anyways, I'd completely written my keys off. The one piece of identification that was on these keys was my Barworks gym membership key tag. The person who found them provided a phone number. The receptionist gave it to me, and I called her. I called the number, and the woman said, "Hello, Danielle speaking." I said, "Hey, Danielle, it's Michelle Rivard." And she went, "Oh, hey." And I said, "Hi, I think you have my keys." And she said, "Oh, yeah, I do. Sorry, did you say Michelle Rivard?" And I said, yeah. And she said, "Hi, it's Danielle Andrews. I used to work with you at Earl's King Street." After getting over the initial shock that the person who found my keys is someone that knows me personally, I said, "Where did you find them?" I assumed that they'd been in a taxi, that they'd made it somewhere else, they'd fallen out. I had no idea. Anyhow, she found them that morning at the corner of King and Spadina. My keys had spent over a month sitting in the same spot. How I didn't see them when I went and looked, I have no idea. I can't even begin to fathom the number of people who would have walked past those keys, tens of thousands, easily, And no one noticed them, no one picked them up, no one tried to do anything, and over a month later, the day after I do a really nice little karmic favor for someone I know finds my keys. Yes, I'd already bought a new keychain. Yes, I'd already replaced all my house keys. But the one key that I didn't have was my bike lock, which I was totally choked about because my bike lock was like well over $100 and I didn't want to buy a new one. But I got it back. There are people who will say that this is just a coincidence, but I am not one of those people. I think to receive these messages, you have to be open and you have to be aware and you have to be ready to listen. If you are in your own world and your own bubble, you can't be a part of the universe. You can't receive messages. You can't connect with others if you're not living outside yourself. So my message to you today is to just look up and listen. I'm gonna try something just to show you that there are powers higher than yourself. I'm gonna take my tarot and I'm gonna pull one card that has a message for me that I can share with you, and we'll analyze it together. Oh my God! This is so crazy. Okay, so what I've just pulled is the Six of Cups. When we look at this card, we see two people, children, maybe a boy and a girl, but the genders don't even really matter. There's 6 cups, each filled with beautiful flowers, and this person is giving this one of his cups. Honestly, it's amazing. There's 72 cards in a deck, and the one that I pulled shows the power of giving and receiving and taking care of others. So there are so many signs everywhere. I know I am like the weirdest hippie and you probably think I'm like super high right now, which I'm not. I've had an Americano and a little bit of chocolate and that's it. But this just represents everything I believe in. It's cray. I know this video was a little bit different from the usual jokes and stuff that I have going on, but I hope you enjoyed it nonetheless. And if you have any questions about tarot or you'd like to learn more about tarot, I could do a video for you. Just leave something in the comments or feel free to like email me or message me on Facebook if we're friends. And that's it, that's all. Next week, I already have a super exciting video for you. I bought some fab stuff at Sephora and I'm totes gonna do an unboxing. Thanks guys, don't forget to subscribe and I'll see you next week.